Wilds of Eldraine and standard products going forward are facing an uphill battle against the player base of Magic the Gathering. Low expectations of value and higher prices for Magic the Gathering products means that sealed products in the future could become a thing of the past and become extinct. Wizards of the Coast will need better solutions and better results to keep the player base buying and engaged. If the prize for a super jackpot was $1,000, would you spend $100 on a ticket trying to win that prize? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. And it is one thing to get players to go out to the Wilds of Eldraine pre-release, which was sold out in most places I checked, and get those players to enjoy, in a single evening of fun, trying out a new product and experiencing it with friends and family alike. And it's an entirely different thing to get those people to continue buying that product week after week, month after month. Something is missing. Something is not right with these products because players have less and less interest. Now, we can say it's the increased pricing. That's one thing. We can say it's the decreased value of the singles cards in the secondary market. When we have cards like, what is it? I got the cards here. Moonshaker Knight is $20 US. This is at pre-release. You've got Beseech the Mirror at $30. We got Soul Cauldron at $15.88, and there's basically no rare in the set above $2.50 for Wilds of Eldraine. And yes, there will be some ups and downs, but generally speaking, most of these prices fall off after 90 days if the history of Magic tells us anything. Now, that was before we saw the end of mass box openings, so we don't really know how this market will turn out, but either way, there's not a lot of value in the singles cards to get players to buy the product. And if you want to enhance the standard, gameplay, think about how they used to do it. Khans of Tarkir, fetch lands. Things like Avacyn, we had Avacyn the Angel of Hope. We had amazing cards. World Weight, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Hard to get, difficult cards that had value. And now, nothing. And I'm not saying the cards are worthless. I'm saying when the chances of getting even half your money back out of a box are zero, that is something that's pretty scary for players. And when I went out and saw these amazing pre-release weekend events at a lot of the local LGS establishments, seeing nobody buy boxes, nobody buying collector packs, maybe the odd pack here and there, but most players, you sit down and listen to conversations and talk, it was about the gameplay around them and the fact the prices are too high now. There's no value, there's no reason to buy sealed boxes. Why would I buy a set box when there's only 3 singles I want? Why would I buy a draft box when there's only a couple of singles I'm after? This is what's facing Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. And they may not even really truly be aware of how bad it is out there yet. It takes a long time for this stuff to roll up the hill to get to the ivory tower. It has a lot of stops on the way, a lot of difficulty meandering that path to where it needs to go to get the information to the right people. Now, Wizards of the Coast, when they find this out, will probably try to rectify the situation, but for a company that should be trying to really propose an upshift in standard play, better prizes, better card design, and really better desirability for players to want to open those packs, it is really lacking at this point, and it has nothing to do with the actual set design. Let's face it, it's an amazing set, but when I look at cards like Quick Study, which is a common, and it costs more than about half of the rares in the set. And even, guys, that card could still upshift. It could still actually be. Now, imagine that card was made into a mythic. Imagine how different that card would be taken by the players. This is a lot of the stuff that Wizards of the Coast used to do when they knew they had a good card design. And now they just put it as common. They keep it really cheap. And there's no reason to be chasing boxes. The few hundred boxes that may get opened in a certain area, that's more than enough to satisfy the player base. They can go on TCG Player, they can buy the singles. What makes you want to go after a box? People used to say it was the gambler's premium, the chance to hit it big. But what happens if there's nothing big to hit? And you can see it plain as day on the cards they put out. When you see the pricing of the cards in the singles market, you go, there's no $50, $60 cards anymore. There's no $100 card. The most expensive card is a $30 card. Why would I bother? I can just spend $30 and buy the card. I can buy the single card. This is something that is going to be catastrophic going forward if they don't pay attention to what they're doing. This could have a real impact on the business model that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have been trying to develop. And the idea that the game should be super cheap, that's one thing you could say. It has lots of positive points to it, but not at the price point that they're putting the product out at. If boxes were $90, then having a $30 card makes perfect sense. Back in the day with Konzatar here and earlier sets, the fetch lands were only $10, $12 each, but you might get 5 or 6 in a box. It paid for about 50 to 60% of your box price. Plus, there were some other cards like Siege, Rhino, and other valued card-hitting cards there that players wanted to get their hands on. None of that exists now. None of that happens unless it's a premium product that has a price tag of $600, like we saw in Modern Horizons 2. This is an issue that is not going away. And you can see players talking about it. You can see that conversation evolving as they're looking at the card and they flip up and check out a few card prices. They were going to trade it into their local LGS and they go, this is only going to trade him for like $8. This is going to trade him for $3. And after I get my 70% or 80% or whatever, credit for cash or whatever, they're losing money left, right, and center. There's just no point. The cards really don't have enough value to even be bothered trading in because the LGS isn't giving you top dollar anymore because it's risky for them to accept the product. Guys, I looked at all these cards. I looked at the experience players had and they had fun. I had a great time at the pre-release I went to and with friends around me. Personally, it was a really good time. But when I looked at the value of the cards, and I didn't hit anything big, by the way. I won my pre-release, but I had a very generic kind of built deck. I did get a quick study, which was awesome. But I looked at this stuff and I go, why? The white Craterhoof Behemoth, awesome card. But, that card may go up. It's $20 right now. It's not even sold out. It's available. You can pick it up right now. So what's going to happen if, supply and demand don't equal out? What happens if there's too much supply and not enough demand? The price is going to go down. So why would people bother opening a box if there's no pot of gold or even the chance of a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? I think going forward, you're going to see Wizards of the Coast take a different tack. They're going to try a new gimmick, those mystical archives and stuff. Yeah, some of these cards have value to certain players, but most people really don't care. What I saw, you can see people talking about it, but they're like, if I get it, I'm just going to trade it in. It's the only thing that might be worth a few bucks. It's the only thing worth getting. And the chances are so slim, or they're not betting on it, that they're not willing to take that risk. And that's what I find interesting as well, is most people right now are risk adverse to opening and risking that much cash for so little chance at a reward. There's no carrot there, man. It's just a trap. You see the iron jaws and the carrot is so small, you're like, I'm not sticking my hand in there trying to get that prize. I'm not willing to take that risk. Wizard of the Coast needs to address this. They need to step back from the ivory tower, come back down to earth, look at what the players are dealing with, but also look at the whales and the players with a lot more funds that help funnel this program. They're the ones who buy the expensive boxes and the cards filter down to all the other players. That has stopped. It has basically ceased. It's like a dead-end road and nobody's trying to build the new highway. They're all looking at the contractor saying, unless you do a really good job, we're not going to ride this road anyway. And the contractor's like, well, I'm not going to finish it then. They're at a stalemate, an impasse, until this gets resolved. So curiosity will kill the cat, sure. But let's find out if Wizards of the Coast has a solution to this going forward. Are they going to have something that draws players in other than premium price products that cost so much money players are staying away from those now anyway? Pre-releases are a lot of fun, but the continual churn and burn of buying boxes has not been happening for a while. It has an initial run and it goes to a standstill. And out of all the stores I checked, seeing nobody buy boxes, seeing all those set and drafts sitting there at the stores I visited, unless that store had a really tight print run and sold out, which I saw a couple of times last week, any moderate to large store has got tons of boxes sitting there doing nothing because players weren't buying the packs. They were literally there to enjoy the pre-release and go home afterwards talking about the game and talking about how some of the issues facing Magic are a lot of value related, a lot of tight controls on money and they're just not willing to spend it, and the feel that they're getting ripped off with the value of the product. This is what players are talking about, and this is what Wizards will have to address at some point, or they're just going to lose more capital because players aren't going to spend it right now. And then we all know these products are going to sit there on discount later on. That's the other thing facing them is whenever they do an Amazon dump, whenever they dump this product into the secondary market like that on Amazon, players have seen this so many times now, everyone just holds on. They're like, oh, it's going to end up there sooner or later. It's going to end up there. If it's not being sold here, we know it's going to end up there. That tighter print run control, Wizards will have to get a real handle on that to address what's happening to players right now. Guys, I hope you guys have some great comments to slam down in the comment section to add to this conversation. I'm looking forward to reading them tomorrow. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for hanging out. And you know what? It's still a great game. I hope you bring a friend to Magic. But Wizards has got a big uphill battle going forward. I heard it all weekend long. Here we are at the end credits once again. That's right, each and every day when content gets uploaded, we get to thank all the fantastic patrons I have supporting this channel, all my YouTube membership members. Because of them, this content happens. Thanks again to everyone. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. I'm so glad you guys made it. You survived. Number one. Anyone who was on my live stream last night, I actually forgot to do the giveaway. The monthly giveaway. So I will try to do it this weekend. I'm sorry about that. Mrs. Mox did pack it up, but we were so excited talking about stuff and the live stream went late. I apologize. To anyone who was in the Ramble Jamble and of course who made it here to the live stream that night, I'm sorry. I did actually forget. It's right there. I'm still up here at the other location. I'll take it home with me and we'll do it this weekend. I'm just as anxious to see what's in there as you guys are, so we'll do it this weekend. It'll be awesome. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being there, guys. I hope you had a fantastic weekend at your pre-release. Let me know what you think is going on out there because it is a crazy world of Magic the Gathering and it affects us all. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow.